Yes, we are live. So, hi, Boston Buddies. Welcome to Brunch with the Boston Buddies. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, and today we have special guest Mitch Stoller from the American Association for Cancer Research. Hello, Mitch. How are you?
Hey Vince, how you doing today? Hey Boston Buddies, great to be with you today and chat a little bit about the Boston Buddies and the AACR cancer research and running.
Yes. So for those that don't know, Mitch is the Chief Philanthropic Officer and VP of Development for the American Association for Cancer Research, or at least that's what I got off LinkedIn as your official title.
I think that's accurate.
Right. But I met you just this past year, actually, in person for the Philadelphia Marathon, through the Philadelphia Marathon.
Yes.
Wendy Platt introduced us because AACR is the chief or the title sponsor for the Philly Marathon as well as the Broad Street Run, correct?
That is correct. Yes. Yeah. About 3 years ago, we teamed up with the city of Philadelphia to become the charity partner of the Philadelphia Marathon, and it's really been a win-win for us, and I think a win-win for the city and for the community at large. And one of my deep down passions and goals is to make this Philadelphia Marathon one of the largest cancer fundraising events in the country. And I think, Vince, this past year, we really turned the page, and, many of the people that participated in the event, including the buddies, really got a sense that this was really more than just a run, more than just a marathon. And obviously any marathon is special, but to put that little extra, charitable component to it, cancer research and, get people involved and engaged, I think has really made a big difference. And, the people in the city of Philly. So I think Philadelphia Events is only one of two cities that the city actually runs and produces the marathon. I believe San Antonio might be the other.
Okay. Yeah, I participated in two of the races last year, the half marathon and then the 8K. The 8K I thought had a very different vibe to it. That one was a lot of the charity runners, and we had a charity team.
Yes.
For a specific cancer survivor, and that we had a great time. I ran it with Marty Clark. Marty
Yep.
Clark.
I do. I love Marty, and Marty's on the line. Looking forward to seeing you sometime in the near future, my friend. And I was with you guys, and I had my blue shirt on, and many of us dedicated. It was for Team Michael Ross. Yep. And the 8K, the Rotman 8K is a fun run. Lots of people can participate in it. And it was really cool. We have a great picture, I think, of you and the team. And I was fortunate to be in that picture as well with you guys.
Yeah, that day, that was just a great day. The vibe that you guys created, there's obviously the run, but I think the association with the cancer research and your organization, and there was a lot of people running there in memory of somebody, or they were survivors themselves. And it just is a slightly different feel because it wasn't like the marathon that day. It was, the day before. It was a much more relaxed atmosphere. It's an 8K, and, it was just, there was walkers out there. There was just people from all walks of life, too. And it was a great community event.
It really is. And, we've been talking to the city about maybe building that event up even a little larger than what it is, because it really gives people more of an exposure of the whole weekend. But like you said, it really is a community event. And, as you run off on that, you go off Kelly Drive, you see so many walkers when you're coming back. But, that's great. People are out there, they're moving, they're getting engaged. And the more people that become exposed to understanding about the importance of cancer science and cancer research. And that's really what we're all about.
Yep. No, that's great. I guess for people that don't know about the American Association for Cancer Research, it's the oldest organization, correct? It's dedicated to cancer reseach in the world.
Yeah, just last week was our Founders Day. Maybe it was the 7th of May, I believe, was the day that the organization was founded in 1907. And it was founded by, 12 physicians Even one of those physicians was an immunologist, which was really rare way back when.
Mhm.
They came up with the idea that the country needed an organization to dedicate themselves to cancer research and cancer science. And so been around a long time, have really been in Philadelphia for well over 50 years as our corporate headquarters, and love being in the city. Speaking to you as a fellow city of brotherly love guy, Philly's a fantastic town. And we have about 225 employees that work in the Philadelphia office. We actually have an office in Cambridge, Mass. It's where one of our publications is called Cancer Discovery. Their office is headquartered there. We have an office in Canada as well, and in Washington, D.C., because we do a lot of work on Capitol Hill with the FDA, with the National Institutes of Health and the National Cancer Institute as well.
Right. And you guys have had a part in almost every leading cancer research discovery, during that time as well.
You know, Vince, I think you'd probably be hard pressed to find that for every discovery related to some type of therapeutic or drug or medicine, there was some AACR member involved in that. So we have 47,000 members all over the world. And that number continues to grow. And this goes from very young scientists, youngsters that are, getting their postdocs or getting their doctorate degrees. We even have members that are undergraduate and even high school students that we're trying to get involved in science as well. But 47,000 members, all dedicated to finding cures for cancer, because there are more than 200 forms of cancer. We focus in on a few, which we should, but there are lots of different forms of cancers out there that we really put our attention towards on a daily basis.
Right. And your role is to try and help fundraise and put on events. How are things going these days? I know the annual event got switched to virtual, but you had a huge turnout, even though it was virtual, it seemed like.
Yeah, so my role is as the Chief Philanthropic Officer of Philanthropy is to raise as much money as we can possibly raise, generate as much awareness as we can possibly generate, because the bottom line is that it's the investment and the dollars that really are the engine for research. Research is not inexpensive and not just related to cancer, but to all things. And so fundraising is paramount to getting more things moving and getting more scientists working on things that they should be working on, like cures. So we typically every year have a live annual meeting. I said live, a face-to-face gathering. This year we were going to be in San Diego, and we typically draw about 22 to 23,000 people that come to that meeting. This year we looked like we were moving in the 24 or 25,000 participant type of activity, because San Diego is a popular place. But bottom line is that the science is really hot. There's really a momentum in this whole area of cancer therapeutics and cancer science and immunology and all this area. But then, COVID-19 hit and kind of put the brakes on it. We felt it was our responsibility, though, to keep the momentum going. As we say, cancer's not quarantined. Unfortunately, people are still, losing their battle every day, and people are being diagnosed every day with cancer. And so we put on a virtual annual meeting, and we did that, a couple weeks ago. And we were just pleasantly surprised that we had over 61,000 people that participated in that meeting. And, we're on the Zoom platform right now. We were on some other type of a technical platform that, I'm knocking on wood, everything worked out fine. There were a few kinks here and there, but, I think all the scientific presentations went really, really well. And we're doing a second version of the annual meeting in late June. And again, we're anticipating we'll have quite a following as well. It'll be a 3-day meeting. There's these annual meetings are just, it's, morning, noon, and night science presentations, networking, learning all about the state of the art research. And it really, provides tremendous momentum to people. I would be real honest with you that, so we typically do a AACR 5K run at the annual meeting, which has really been growing in popularity, and more and more people have been raising money for us. We actually had to stop that. And so we're now doing some virtual runs. We'll be talking a little bit about what you have in the background there, a Father's Day run that we're going to be doing virtually. We had just last week, we worked with the group Epic Races, and we did the May the 4th Be With You. Like 880 people signed up for that and participated and raised money. And I think really, really had a fun time with that. And then we're also going to be launching for the month of June a virtual fitness challenge, which is going to be, it'll be on our website, and you'll be able to get more information. And if you actually go to the Runners for Research page behind you, probably in another week or so, we'll have some more information about the virtual fitness challenge. But we're all challenged to get these types of activities off the ground, and I think people are having fun. I don't know about you, but in my community here in New Jersey, more people are out walking. I see people out jogging. So what a wonderful opportunity to get people a little bit more engaged in a variety of activities that we all love to do.
Yeah, I agree. And I know a Father's Day run is something a lot of families do. I know I do it. And obviously this year, it's a little bit compromised. Obviously, we can't have these large groups gathering anymore, and all our races are canceled. But AACR is putting on a Father's Day run, right, for this year, and you can get a medal, right? And it's this, I think, is the medal design. The little tie. Oh, you can't see my arm. I don't know what's going on here, but the tie there, that was my contribution to the medal. But you guys are putting on a virtual race, and you just announced the sign up is open today. I think today was the first day. And we did create a Boston Buddies team out there. I'll post the link to join the Boston Buddies team in the comments. But I think personally, I think this is going to be a great thing for me to do with my girls, Father's Day morning. Normally we get together and do something, and nothing better than I like doing than running. So I'm going to try and get these guys all out there. Now, I don't have to drag them into Philly. I can just do it right on my street and just do the virtual race.
Which is great. And I'm going to take your cue. I've already registered, and I've registered I've got my Runners for Research shirt, my green Runners for Research shirt on. But my daughter, who works in New York City, has been out with us for 6 weeks, and she's been out getting in shape. And so I think that gave me a great idea to get my daughter out. She can honor her father that day. And, again, we could walk, run, do whatever for 10K, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I want to thank you for planning the idea and kind of pushing us a little bit. For the folks out there that are listening, Vince has been a really great volunteer for the AACR, and has helped us out a great deal. It's part of one of our new endurance running committees. And so this is really awesome, and we're excited to be involved and host something like this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think, Father's Day, it's about a month from now. Hopefully things will be a little more opened up than they are right now. And, we'll be able to celebrate.
I'm hoping it gets warmer. It's like,
36 degrees today.
I know it's supposed to be 65 or 70, I think, here in Jersey on the weekend. But I've been posting some videos with my stocking cap on and my overcoat on. I'm ready for some warm. I'm ready for some warm weather. I'm sure the Boston Buddies are as well.
I agree. I'm 100% on board with that. You briefly touched on Runners for Research. So that's can you explain what that is to our listening audience? Because everybody can join that.
So I've been involved now. This is going to be my 7th year at AACR. And when I first got to AACR, we really didn't have too many activities or outward activities. Primarily, the organization is a scientific association, but we wanted to change that because we felt like that it's a wonderful organization, and the public should be aware of it. And so we just kind of came up with this little symbol of that little, the little person, the little, I guess, emblem of the runner back there, and decided that why couldn't we get people to just run for research? And you could run anywhere. You could run virtually. You could run in a race in your hometown, or you could become part of this bigger group. And what always attracted me to what you guys have done at the Boston Buddies, we're trying to get the Runners for Research to become more of a broader community, much like what you have accomplished, because it's much more than just about running. I mean, you have friendships, and you help people through trials and tribulations, and I think you educate people, and we very much are like about the same type of activity. So on our website, if people went to aacr.org and then they went and they just kind of navigated the website for a little while, they would find under Take Action, Runners for Research. It's pretty easy to find. I'm sure you could even type it in and it would pop up. But the idea is to build a running community that's focused on hopefully raising money, building awareness, and just being part of a larger group. And that was the whole idea, was to start getting people more interested in what the AACR was all about, but in a kind of a fun, running way.
Yeah, and you've got some pretty good experience developing a community, with sports and activity involved. You were the president of the Livestrong Foundation, and you were you the guy that came up with the yellow wristband?
I will tell you a little, if you have a minute, I'll tell you a little story. So when I started, I was the president and CEO of the Lance Armstrong Foundation. That was the name of the organization, and based in Austin, Texas. And the organization was really focused on cancer and cancer survivors and survivorship. That was the mission of the organization. And this is kind of jump starting this, but I was invited to Nike headquarters in Portland, Oregon, sat around a table with about 15 people, and they were all marketing executives. And they were trying to figure out what we could do to honor Lance as he was going after his 6th Tour de France title. And they had come up with the idea of creating this yellow wristband, and on it, it was going to say Carpe Diem, because that was one of the sayings that he enjoyed speaking out. And but instead, one of the executives said, we had created a program at the foundation called Livestrong, and it was about survivors sharing their stories and helping each other. And then one of the marketing executives turned to me and said, you know what? Livestrong could be your just do it type of moment. So we agreed that we were going to produce 6 million of these yellow wristbands, and they would be sold basically, or people could make $1 donation for them. And I went back to Austin and went in front of my board of directors, told them about these yellow wristbands, and they looked at me and they laughed at me and they said, what in the hell are we going to do with 6 million yellow wristbands? Shoot them at each other, and then kind of the rest is history. As you know, it became it really just became one of these great successes, and a viral. It was like one of the very first viral activities that went on. I think today there's like some 75 million have been sold. And it's been really good, because I think, I still wear mine. My brother's a cancer survivor. And I know lots of other people that I see around still wear their yellow wristbands, but it's interesting because many other wristbands have kind of spawned out of that original message.
Yeah, you were the first. That's the first time I've ever seen wristbands, was Livestrong. Like, I don't remember people having those wristbands before. And yeah, everybody has one now.
Yeah, so certainly, Vince, at the time, it only was being used, I think, even Nike was using it for some of their professional athletes. So like, I think they had one that said LeBron James on it, and one that said, but they didn't use them in any kind of mass way. And so it was really fun, and a lot of hard work that went into that, because we had to kind of rethink how we were doing our business, because we were being inundated with requests for wristbands. And but it really, I think, put the foundation on the map. About a year or two later, we created, and we just called it the Livestrong Foundation. And the organization continues to do well down in Austin. I served on the board for about 3 years after I left the organization, and I'm still very proud of those activities.
Yeah, that's an amazing organization, and it might be fair to say without Liv Strong, we might not have heard the phrase Boston Strong. You know,
I doubt. I think you're right. I mean, I think there's been a lot of blank strongs, that kind of relate to that whole message. And I mean, what a powerful message Boston Strong sends, right?
exactly.
But I think that was that was definitely the precursor for many of those.
I agree. I agree. I actually have a photo here. This, you can't see it.
There you
Now
go.
I
I
can
see
see
it.
it. That's me and my daughter when she was like 8 or 9, and we did the Live Strong bike ride in Philly.
So I started that ride. So we created the Livestrong Challenge, and the Livestrong Challenge had a number of cycling events, and we picked Philly because Philly is a great cycling town, and it's also a very philanthropic community, and you could draw from the Mid-Atlantic. And the first one was up in Bluebell at was it the community college, I think?
Yeah, Montgomery County Community College. Yeah.
Yep. And so it was quite a neat event. They still do some of the rides now, and the famous ride is what they call the Ride for the Roses, which is in Austin every year. But I didn't realize you participated in that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I used to bike before I was a runner, and I did the 100-mile race. I don't know if you were the one that picked that course, but it was a hilly course. It was brutal.
So I'm not gonna take credit, but I had to talk to a few people after the fact because I heard that was a really, really challenging course.
It was very difficult. I did it twice. I did the 100-miler, and then the next year I did the 10-miler with my daughter, and that was the longest she ever rode.
I did the 70-miler.
Okay.
And that was hard. It was hard.
Yeah, it was not easy. And Lance did come the one year and did it. He rode it. He won it, obviously. He came out and did it.
Yeah, that's a joyride for him, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even before that, though, I mean, if there was ever an angel in living on Earth right now, it might be you, because before Livestrong, you were the president of the Christopher Reeve Foundation as well.
I was. So prior to that, I was actually my first job my first executive director job was with the American Paralysis Association, which is based here in New Jersey. That actually brought me to New Jersey. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. And then Christopher was hurt, and he became paralyzed. And he did his rehab in New Jersey at the Kessler Rehab Facility, which is a world famous, rehab facility. And I remember him inviting me to come visit with him because he was really interested in science and research, because he felt that was what's going to get him back up one day. Yep. And I remember the first time I met him, Vince, it was like it was yesterday. I came in and he came up in his wheelchair, and this guy had a big man. He was a very large man, about 6'5", and big, strong guy.
He was Superman.
Yes, that's exactly right. He had these powder blue eyes that just kind of like penetrated you. And he was a force. The man was a real force. And we merged the American Paralysis Association and created the Christopher Reeve Foundation, which is now the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. And he was amazing because he really pushed us, and he pushed the government, and he pushed many people to really focus on neurological disorders, specifically spinal cord injury. And now, there's a therapy called treadmill therapy, where they get folks who are paralyzed up on treadmills, and they start moving, and they start getting some sensation back. And it's amazing what has happened and where things are going. I haven't actually kept up with it today, but I know they're making wonderful progress there. I just wrote a thought piece about Christopher Reeve and about Superman, just like it hadn't been published yet in our local, in one of the AACR publications, but I kind of made the analogy that, here was this superhero, Superman, but look at all the superheroes that are out there today battling COVID-19, people that are on the front lines, the cancer scientists, the cancer research. Many of these cancer scientists are pivoting a little bit right now and kind of focusing some of their attention and energy on COVID-19. I just got off another Zoom call, and the AACR has established a cancer and COVID-19 task force, because unfortunately, people that are dealing with cancer, COVID-19 it has a terrible effect on many people, but for many people that are, have immunosuppressed type of systems, it could be a real killer for them. And so we're really focusing a lot of our efforts on COVID and cancer, and we think it could also perhaps have a big effect maybe on future therapeutics and maybe even the vaccine. As many of our supporters are people that are actually out there trying to look for that vaccine for COVID-19.
Yeah, we had some nurses and doctors on the program yesterday, just talking about their experience. We had people from New York, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, and Illinois, just various spots in the country. And hearing their stories were amazing.
I can't even imagine, what they're going through, and the fact that they're working around the clock and they're away from their families. These people are they are heroes. That they're real heroes.
Yeah. What I took out of that too was they were smiling. They were smiling the whole time. In this time of craziness, and they're up there on the front lines, and they're literally risking their lives every time they walk into work, and they just take it with stride. They're just like, hey, that's just my job, and they don't want any accolades for it.
Pretty amazing. I find that when I meet scientists, young and old, they are really unsung heroes. And I don't care if it's cancer or if it's heart disease or Alzheimer's or whatever. Yep. These are people that have really dedicated themselves, and they work their tails off, and they work around the clock. And, we have a culture where we definitely, put a lot on our sports heroes, and we put a lot on, our movie stars and, celebrities. But, these people that you just referred to and you had on your show yesterday, and then just the people out there that are, out there in the labs, and they're amazing. They're just really amazing. Again, I call them the real superheroes.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. When I think about what they're going through, it makes my problems seem real small.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So I have to ask you, we're the Boston Buddies. We always talk about your intro video and what made you start running. What made you start running, and kind of also,
I've been running for quite a long time. I started my career as a health and physical education teacher.
Okay.
I played basketball in a Division III basketball school. I went to a very small school in Western Maryland called Frostburg State University, and great little school. And I loved playing basketball. I mean, I was like a little gym rat, and just always into athletics, all kinds of sports. But then kind of after basketball, a buddy of mine told me we need to train for the Marine Corps Marathon. And this is back in 1975, when the Marine Corps Marathon wasn't like what it is today.
Right.
And my buddy and I trained and ran. I think I ran a 3:17, which was not too bad for back in the day when I was a youngster. And I really enjoyed running. I mean, I enjoyed the, helping me with my stress and just the fitness aspects of it. And so then, kids came along and kind of, continued to do some things. And then about, I guess it was about, behind me there, you can see a medal and a picture back there.
Yeah,
in 2009, 30 years later, I ran the Boston Marathon again.
Nice.
And not the Boston Marathon, sorry, the Marine Corps Marathon again. And
okay.
And that one was 4 hours and change. And it was good. I was training, but didn't train properly. And now, since I've been home here, kind of on lockdown and working from the house, I've been out there putting some more miles in. I mix walking and running because what the hell, right? I
Right.
enjoy doing that. And, I would, depending on what happens with the Philly Marathon, I'd love to actually run another marathon. And who knows, maybe at my age, I could qualify for Boston, because it would be really a lot of fun to be in that event with you and the Boston Buddies, because it seems like that's a pinnacle for really getting involved and being involved in some type of a fun activity.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. We
Yeah,
are planning big things.
I got to do a little more speed training and some hill training, I think, to get there though.
You can do it. If there's anybody that can do it, it would be you. Now, AACR, they actually do have associations with marathons all over the country too, right? Like Disney Marathon and.
So we do participate with some of those Disney runs, the Disney Marathon, the Princess Run. I think it's the Wine and Dine Run. So it's funny that, some people really enjoy participating in those theme runs.
Yep.
We have been involved, not kind of loosely involved. We were involved with the Seattle Marathon, but we're really not officially involved in any other activities, but
Okay.
certainly something we're considering, and would potentially get a little bit more involved in. I think Philly really takes up a lot of our focus and our time and energy, and really want to try to make that the best experience it could possibly be, so people will continue to come back. And as Philly is it's a neat destination. It's a really great run, and people have a good time. The crowds are nice, and our brothers and sisters in Philadelphia behaved themselves quite well that day.
We're on our best behavior that weekend.
Yeah. Yes.
It was funny. I had Michael Wardian on the other day, and he was saying he came up and ran a 5K here in Philly, and he said it was in Rittenhouse, and he said when he was coming down like near the end, he almost got in a fight with the guy that was coming in second. Or the guy that was coming in second, like wanted to get in a fight with him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Sounds like Philly.
Exactly.
It's really not that bad, people.
No.
I love Philadelphia. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and I've lived I've spent some time working in New York, but the city of Philadelphia is the people are great. People are really great. I enjoy walking the city and getting to know the folks, and it's just a really neat place.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think that movie Rocky still summed up a lot of this town. We're a bunch of underdogs and a bunch of blue collar people, just out there making it through each day. And you get that vibe, especially the Philly Marathon. You get, you finish right at the steps, and you can go run up and down the steps right there. It's a great finish.
It's I think Rocky is Philadelphia. There's no doubt about that. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. So what's coming up next? We've got the 10K for Father's Day. Are there any other events that you want?
So we're gonna announce the virtual fitness challenge, and that'll be for the entire month of June. Then we have the Father's Day run, and then we are actually creating for people that are gamers, like the streamers out there, that play Fortnite and some of these games like that. We're creating a new program called Players versus Cancer, yet to be launched. It's going to be launched very soon. We've had some gamers that have been out there raising money for us, but we're excited. We think we're going to have a tournament right around the end of June for the virtual. It'll kind of coincide with the virtual annual meeting. But again, people come on our website, aacr.org, they'll be able to see a little bit more about Players versus Cancer. So we're excited about that. We're waiting on the Broad Street run and what's going to happen with Broad Street, because because of our relationship with the marathon in the city, we get about, I think we get like 85 bibs for people to participate that want to participate in the Broad Street Run. And if anybody, if any of your of the buddies were interested in that, they should let us know. But you know, you've run Broad Street. It's quite an experience.
Broad Street was my first run ever.
Well, and probably really got to you, right? That, you know, got you the bug.
You know what? Actually, I ran it 2009 was my first year, and I ran it with a Livestrong jacket on. I remember because I had the jacket on, and it was a hot day, and a guy came up running next to me, and I wasn't really a runner, a good runner. And the guy, he's like, you got to take that off and tie it around your waist. You know, you're gonna overheat. And I just thought that was really nice of the guy to like give me some advice, because he could tell I was struggling and it was a little hot that day. And I still remember seeing that guy's face when I was running down Broad Street. It's a great run, like it's 10 miles straight shot, no like you do 3 turns around City Hall, and that's it.
I loved it. I loved it. You know, I'm running down the road, and there's fans basically pretty much the entire, you know, there's people rooting for you and cheering you on. And we went by one church, and the choir was outside singing.
Yeah.
And I popped up next to them and took did like a little selfie video. It was just a fun, you know, great event. And it's the largest 10 miler in the country, I believe. So after Broad Street, we're also waiting on the Philadelphia Marathon. Nothing's been announced yet. I mean, we're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll be able to do that. I honestly don't know. I mean, obviously those are huge crowds and lots of people. So I'm not really sure where we stand with that, but it'll come back one day. We'll be back and we'll be doing things. And maybe if there's not a live event, maybe there'll be some type of a virtual activity or virtual event.
Right. As of today, though, everything's a go. So we can stay positive.
Right. Yeah. Let's got to stay positive.
Exactly. Well, this is great. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Appreciate all the stuff that you're doing for cancer research. I mean, you're talking about the healthcare workers being heroes, but you are as well. Not just with what you've done here with AACR, but the other organizations you've worked with. You've raised literally hundreds of millions of dollars for these organizations, and you touched and saved a lot of lives that you probably will never even see. But you deserve a lot of credit.
Well, no, it's really nice of you to say that. The credit goes to the people that I've worked with. It's the volunteers, the board members, and my colleagues. That's where the true credit goes. And you know, I learned a little bit more about you today. It was almost like you and I were meant to be together or to know each other with the Liv Strong connection and all that. And isn't it amazing how sometimes these things happen like that and you get to know somebody? But hats off to you and for the philanthropic work that you do and the buddies does. That's one thing that really attracted me to the buddies. It's a great group of people that have tremendous passion, and that's what I'm all about and I love. And so thanks for allowing me to be part of that. And hopefully I can continue to be productive in that side.
Oh, I appreciate that. And yeah, let's see how many buddies can partake in the Father's Day race.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much again for your time. And hopefully I will see you soon back on the streets.
That'd be awesome, Vince. Hey, thanks a lot. And thanks to the Boston buddies. You guys are terrific.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay. See you, man.